When Teen Wolf ended its run after 6 seasons, there was a sense of closure. Stiles and Lydia were paired up, Scott was still leader of the Beacon Hills pack and facing new threats and challenges on the horizon. But there were some lingering questions from the show that were not answered, and that Teen Wolf creator Jeff Davis says he still can't answer. Today I'm running down 5 of these unanswerables in this video and throwing out some speculation as to how they might be solved based on established Teen Wolf canon. If you enjoy these trips back to Beacon Hill, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be alerted every time I drop new content. Before we get started, these are all questions that I put to Teen Wolf creator Jeff Davis that he either chose not to answer or said outright he didn't know the answer. Any conclusions in this video are my speculation and should not be considered Teen Wolf canon. Number 1 on the list of unanswerables, how does the Alpha Spark transfer within families? Is it hereditary? This was a source of speculation right from the beginning of the series when fans wondered why Laura was the alpha of the family instead of Derek, and why Peter, once he began to recover, had to kill his niece in order to get the status. When the fire devastated the Hale pack and scattered the survivors, all we know for a fact is that Laura ended up with an Alpha Spark. We don't know how, and while Jeff shared with me his desire to tell that story, he never got around to it. We know from Dr. Deaton that the status can be inherited, but the idea that Laura got it directly from her mother is just speculation. We know Laura was an alpha when she died, but we don't know when she got the spark or how. We do know Peter Hale felt it rightfully belonged to him, suggesting there is a line of succession. But that also just plays into Peter's overdeveloped sense of entitlement that he believed he should be in charge. Even while Talia was alive, Peter thought she was doing a terrible job, so that muddies this situation a bit. Speculation along these lines leads to more questions. Does the oldest able-bodied werewolf just inherit it automatically? Is it matriarchal, passing from mother to daughter unless someone comes along and interrupts that process? Is there some battle royale for the spark where all the remaining family betas compete for the alpha status? My guess, based on actual canon and what I know about the writers of this show, is an all of the above approach. Whatever would have made for the best episode, they would have done that, which is why it's still an unanswerable question. Next up, what happened to Theo's parents? Thanks in part to Stiles' investigation, we know for a fact that these two are not Theo's real parents.
There is one way a false signature can be explained. It's not easy to write when you're wearing a cast.
So, after Theo smashed fake Daddy's hand with a hammer, he realized he'd been caught out in that lie and dropped the pretense that he even had parents. But we never found out what happened to the fakes or his real parents. This is an area I wish they had explored more. Knowing this type of thing would have, I think, aided in Theo's redemption arc in Season 6. The cynic in me suggests that if Theo could watch his sister die of exposure, he'd have no trouble offing his parents once he got his Chimera abilities from the Dread Doctors. And unless these two are more athletic than they appear and could run really, really fast, they too are most likely dead. Ah, Paris, home to the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, and at least one emotionally wounded werewolf named Isaac Leahy. We've been told by actors and writers that Isaac moved to France after Allison's death, but unlike the other expat characters that returned for the series finale, Isaac stayed gone. So what's he up to now? We really don't know, but having seen what the writers did with Jackson and Ethan, my guess is that Isaac would also be involved with the larger werewolf community in some capacity. While he was always a bit of an Eeyore, always expecting the worst, Isaac was, at his core, a hero, and heroes don't sit on the sidelines when good people are threatened.
Gentlemen, I believe Mr. Katashi is expecting me.
I suspect any of those European hunters that cross Isaac's path instantly regret it. I hope you packed your tent because we are going deep into the woods of speculation on our next unanswerable question. Who cut down the Nemeton? This is truly unknowable because the writers didn't firmly answer the question, but here's my theory based on what we know. First, the Nemeton was alive and well in 1943 when Noshiko trapped the Nogitsune there. Second, destroying a Nemeton sacred space is said to bring on all sorts of disaster to the surrounding villages. Third, we know that some disaster damaged Beacon Hills and resulted in the Hales helping to rebuild the town.
Eventually settling in a small town in Northern California, this family used their wealth to rebuild the community around them while remaining isolated from it.
So at some point, post-World War II, someone cut down the Nemeton and brought the bad times to Beacon Hills. I believe that someone was a young Gerard Argent. My headcanon goes something like this. In the 1960s, when Gerard would have been in his late teens, he was part of a well-known hunter family operating in the Beacon Hills area. We saw Alexander Argent in Motel California back in 1977, so we know they were there. We know Gerard is one for overly complicated, wily coyote-type plans, as witnessed in seasons 2 and 6. So, as a younger man, it might have crossed his mind that wasting all their blood and treasure hunting werewolves is kinda dumb if you can just cut down the supernatural beacon that's attracting them to town. That's my theory, but mainly I think it was him because Gerard Argent just sucks on all levels and he causes stupid problems wherever he goes. Finally, in this installment, one of the oldest questions in the Teen Wolf universe. Why was Jackson underwater at the beginning of Season 2? Now, rising out of the water can represent a rebirth or a baptism as in the Christian church. There's all sorts of subtext one could read into one of the Teen Wolf hunks with a wet white t-shirt clinging to his ample musculature rising out of a freezing cold pond. Honestly, I think they did it because it looked cool. They might try to justify it after the fact with all that aforementioned subtext, but it was just one of those cool, iconic Teen Wolf scenes that remains unexplained. There you go, some unanswerables for you. Thanks for watching. Because I know Teen Wolf fans are never at a loss for strong opinions, give me your thoughts and let me know where I went wrong down in the comments.